Hello kids, how are you all? I hope you all are doing well. So today we will learn in a digital format. And do you know who I am? I am your teacher Gunjan Saini. So today in this chapter we will learn about, basically we will understand about pollution, right? So what is pollution firstly? Pollution is when harmful substances enter our environment, making it dirty and unhealthy. So kids, our environment was clean, it was healthy, right? But when we started to add the garbage or the dirty things directly into the air, the water, right, it started to pollute. So it affects, these things affects the air we breathe, the water we drink and the land we live on. Let's learn about the different types of pollution, their causes and how can we help to reduce these pollution, right? So there are different types of pollution. When the harmful gases, right, enters the air, it becomes the air pollution. So air pollution happens when harmful gases and particles get into the air, making it dirty and unsafe to breathe, right? There are lots of gases that are there in our air, right? But when the air becomes unsafe to breathe, right, it becomes the air pollution. What are the major causes of this air pollution? First of all, it's the cars and the trucks. Vehicles release smoke and harmful gases into the air. When the engine is turned on in the cars and the trucks, the fuel inside them burns, right? It burns and releases smoke and harmful gases directly into the air. Then the other reason is through the factories. So factories release smoke and chemicals into the air. Factories do this directly into the air, and that's the major reason of this air pollution. Burning garbage is another reason. So burning garbage like plastic and rubber produces harmful smoke. When we burn plastic or rubber, it produces so much harmful smoke that it directly pollutes our air. Then there are certain chemical sprays also that pollute our environment. Using sprays with chemicals like certain insecticides and cleaning products can also pollute the air. So kids, it's just not the air that gets polluted, but it also affects us. How? The breathing problems. Dirty air can cause coughing, asthma and other breathing issues. Have you ever seen when the air gets polluted at a very high level, we feel coughing, right? We feel difficulty in breathing, right? And what are the other effects? We see harm, that the air also harm to animals and the plants. Animals and plants can get sick from polluted air, right? Just like human beings, they also have breathing issues. And the major thing it affects, that is the climate. Some pollutants can trap heat in the atmosphere, causing the Earth's temperature to rise. So what happens is, there are certain gases which traps the heat in the atmosphere, and this causes the Earth's temperature to rise to a certain degree that it pushes the climate to change. Next kind of pollution is water, right? So water pollution happens when harmful substances like trash, chemicals and water waste enter rivers, lakes, oceans and other bodies of water, making the water dirty and unsafe. So when harmful things like, right, for example, chemicals, waste enters into the water bodies from where we get water like rivers, lakes, oceans. When these harmful chemicals enters directly into these sources of water, we call that water has polluted. The water has polluted, right? The water become dirty and unsafe for drinking. And how it is caused? It is majorly caused firstly through trash. So throwing plastic bottles, bags and some trash into the water causes the water to pollute. Majorly the factory waste. Some factories dump harmful waste directly into the river without treating it, causing the river and ocean water to become polluted. Then oil spills. Oils from the ships can spill into the ocean, making the water dirty. Sometimes the oil that is transferred to the other countries gets spilled from the ships into the water, and there is no way it can be cleaned then. Sewage water. Dirty water from the homes and the factories can flow into the rivers and lakes. This also makes the water very harmful. Now, the water that gets polluted affects us, the life forms. How? The dirty water becomes unsafe to drink and use, right? It harms the animal. Fish and other animal, water animal that lives in the water can get sick and die from the polluted water. It destroys homes. Pollution can destroy the homes of many water animals and plants. There are lots of animals, insects and plants that live on and under the water. They get destroyed, their homes get destroyed with the water pollution. Now if we talk about the land pollution. So land pollution happens when people throw garbage and harmful chemicals on the ground, making the land dirty and unhealthy, right? So the land includes the soil, right? Majorly the soil, the rocks, right? And when we human beings throw chemicals, the garbage on this, it causes the land to pollute. Primarily the cause is the littering, throwing trash like plastic bottles, wrappers and cans on the ground instead in a bin, right? We tend to throw plastic bottles or waste here and there and not in the bin. This causes the land to become polluted. Chemicals from the farms. Farmers sometimes use chemicals to help their crops grow, but this can harm the soil. So the chemicals that are used in the farming not just help the crop to grow, rather in fact it pollutes the land, right? It harms the soil. Factories. Some factories do not properly dispose of their waste properly and dump it on the land. This directly pollutes the soil and kills so many microbes living in the soil. And how it affects us? Firstly and foremost, it dirties the soil. The soil becomes dirty and cannot grow healthy plants, right? It also harms animals that can get sick or hurt from touching the trash and chemicals, right? Just like human beings, animals don't know, right, what are chemicals and what are certain things. So they might get in touch with those certain trash and certain chemicals which can get harmful for them. Then it also causes health problems, like people can get sick from the polluted land. Now, it is very important to reduce these kind of pollutions. So, what are the importance of reducing this pollution? First and foremost, kids, it's the health. Reducing pollution help us to stay healthy and breathe clean air. If we will reduce the pollution, we will able to stay healthy. We will able to live on a healthy planet. We will be able to breathe clean air. We will be able to drink clean water. It also protects environment, the plants, animals and the natural resources, right? If we will reduce the pollution, we will protect our animals, our plants that are killing with a very high rate, right? That are being killed at a very high rate. And especially for the future generation, if we'll keep our environment clean, this will ensure a better future for the next generation to come. Okay, so now let's get to the part where we can learn how to reduce this pollution. So what are the ways to reduce the pollution? So first and foremost, reduce, reuse and recycle. Kids, minimize waste by using less, reusing items and recycling materials. Use less and less things, right? And try to reuse items and recycle the material. More and more, plant trees. Trees absorb carbon dioxide and produce oxygen, helping to clean the air. Okay, so the more the number of plants we will plant, the more it will absorb the carbon dioxide, right? it will produce more oxygen and will help the air to get cleaner. Now we can use public transport, right? The more the number of buses and cars there will be on the road, the more the pollution it will spread, right? So taking buses, trains or carpooling reduces the number of vehicles on the road, right? This can reduce the pollution, the air pollution. We can also avoid plastic. So reusable bags, right? Like the jute bag or the cotton bags, bottles and containers instead of using the single-use plastic, okay? We can use the reusable bags. Also, we can properly dispose of the waste. So, dispose of waste properly and avoid littering here and there, okay? So, I hope this is clear to you now how we can reduce the pollution. Kids, do you know that one recycled tin can save enough energy to power a television for 3 hours? So, now can you imagine, to make a tin, it requires so much energy. The energy that is required to run a television for 3 hours. So, if you will and can recycle just a tin, right, we can save so much of energy, right? So in this chapter we learned and understood that understanding pollution and its effects helps us become more responsible and take actions to protect our environment. Every small step we can take make a big difference. So kids, first of all, understanding pollution and its effects will help us become more aware of the problems, right? And this is how we will take the small steps toward a big difference. So I hope this chapter is clear to you now. So based on your understanding of this chapter, you have to revise and do the exercise in your homework.